Hello all, this is Apoorva Dawalbhakta, Associate Research Director at Quadrant Knowledge Solutions, and welcome to the Tech Talk series, an initiative by Quadrant Knowledge Solutions. The idea of Tech Talk series is basically to interact with the industry leaders, visionaries, tech entrepreneurs, tech evangelists, and so on, in order to understand their perspective and their opinion about the current happenings in the market and where would the market be eventually leading into. On this note, I'm extremely glad today to introduce someone who honestly needs no introduction. We have Philip Varughese with us. He is basically, he's many things. He's an industry recognized analytics veteran, a cyber defense leader, entrepreneur, thought leader, and a visionary digital transformation and innovation executive with upward of 20 years of experience in the fields of enterprise data strategy, big data analytics, artificial intelligence, future systems, next-gen cyber defense, cognitive decision systems, disruptive innovation, and many more. I welcome Philip to the Tech Talk series by Quadrant Knowledge Solutions. Uh, Philip, if you would just like to say something.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Apoorva, for the opportunity, and thank you, Quadrant Knowledge Solutions, to share this opportunity to share my knowledge with all of you. I really appreciate and looking forward to have a wonderful discussion. Thank you for the great introduction. The only thing which I'd like to highlight and put a disclaimer is that I am here in my personal capacity. Whatever I am going to share with all of you is based on the derived knowledge across the 20 years, what I experience with global customers or global markets in diverse areas. So I may not be, I would not be explicitly talking anything about any of my current or past organizations in their context. Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. We're glad to have you, Philip. And Philip, let us dive into our discussion. So, one thought has always been with me, like a consistent and a significant shift, to say the least, is happening, which started from, say, automated processes. It went on to the autonomous systems, and currently it has taken the form of cognitive decision systems, right? So could you throw some light on that? Like, how would you describe this change? Whether it's organic, inorganic, whether it's a needed change, or it just happened, what would be your opinion on the same?
I think if you look at back the history, right, human being was always, curious enough to discover new capabilities to make the human's life better and easier, right? So in that whole process, if you look at right from the Stone Age to the industry 1.0, today we are industry X.0, right? And for industry 4, and then it is coming 5, and then it will go to X.0. In this whole process, if you look at, we always discovered new things to make our life much better, seamless, easy, and less complex. And that is where I think we built a lot of capabilities, especially in the area of technology and then in the area of digital. And today we are talking about making it more intelligent, right? And that is where you see capabilities like artificial intelligence and machine learning coming together to make it more intelligent, more autonomous in the whole area. Wherever we look at, whether it is in a particular industry or whether it is a particular domain, whether it is a particular region, doesn't matter. So it's happening seamlessly across the world, where this autonomous systems, which are more intelligent in nature, coming to help us to do better things for ourselves and for our society. So I think it's happening as per the course of time. I think it is a need of the hour as well, because human can always do better things, right? And you need advanced capabilities to do better things, where these advanced capabilities can help you to do or get things delivered which are very, very monotonous, operational and transactional, so that you can focus on always building the new capability. And I think it is the need of the hour.
Great. I think that is setting the tone for future questions as well on a very apt path. In connection to this, I'm intrigued by what would be the core principles of, say, AI-powered cognitive decision systems in this regard. And I'll also add something like, where exactly are they focused upon? Is it focused solely on humanity and its future, or is anything else coming into picture as well?
Um, I think basically it's a perspective, and it is up to us, right? I spent about 18 years in analytics and AI, building AI systems and future systems. What I see is actually all these systems are either to solve a problem. These cognitive capabilities are either built to either to solve a problem or to innovate an existing process to make it better, right? But at the same time, the same capabilities can be used for bad things as well. So the ideal situation, these capabilities should be used only in the context of making the humanity to have a better context and better platform, right? That's the ideal situation. But unfortunately, the same capabilities, either knowingly or unknowingly, either intentionally or unintentionally, is also uh, be the reason for many bad things which are happening out there as well.
I love where the conversation is going, because what I was about to ask you is, what would you think are the possible future outcomes of cognitive computing technologies? And is one of those possibilities something that we should be concerned about, or is it a rosy picture?
Yeah, so probably I'll go back a little bit. See, today every business is a technology business, right? That starts right from a pani puri seller on the street to a multi-billion-dollar business conglomerate, right? So without technology, it is very difficult for even a pani puri seller on the street to really run his daily living, right? So earlier, I think technology was built to support business functions, but today businesses is getting built around the technology, right? Whichever the technology that is coming. In this whole technology, if you look at earlier, many systems could be siloed. And in today's world, I think these technology ecosystems have to come together to make the business ecosystem to function and grow, in the most efficient and effective way. And more, these business ecosystems and these technology systems are getting connected today, right? And the data is the fundamental element in the whole ecosystem, which is driving this growth, making it more intelligent and so on, right? Rest all are peripherals and enablers, whether it is we are talking about AI systems or advanced technology systems and so on. These are enablers but the data is the most important ingredient to this. Now, in the new context, in this whole new connected intelligent ecosystem, if you look at by IDC's research, it's a famous research report out there. By 2025, we are going to have 50 billion connected devices, right? Each of these connected devices is going to be really more intelligent as well. It is not just going to be connected devices, but it is going to be intelligent devices, right? And that is where as a person or as a leader or as a business executive, you will have to look at data in multiple contexts in multiple dimensions. And you need to have a lot of curated, actionable insights and intelligence, which will be coming out of these multiple intelligent systems out there to take the right decision, right? And when you are dealing with so many diverse integrated ecosystems coming together, which are still connected, which are digital, which are intelligent, and this is where you need a cognitive decision support system to help you to take the right decision amongst or midst of this complex ecosystem in place, right? I think people will have to use this, and people are already started using this. And people will also build systems to manage these cognitive systems as well. Example, right? I just read that there is a Chinese company, which is a $10 billion company, is appointing an AI CEO, a virtual CEO into the company, right? So you will have cognitive systems in the one side, and you will have cognitive humanoids to manage these cognitive systems going forward as well. So I think it is here to stay, it is here to come in the long run, but it's all about how do we use this and what is the purpose, what is the real outcomes we are targeting to really make it the more effective and efficient in the long journey.
Great. I think that threw quite a significant light uh, on the questions. Uh, I want to move ahead by saying, it's a known fact, right, that a one-size-fits-all cybersecurity solution, it's definitely an outdated concept, right?
Yeah.
Let's say instead, individual business-driven protection policies which require the embedding of operational processes, individual governance models, say organizational ethos, to be taken into consideration. That is what the need of the hour is, or that is where things are moving.
Yeah.
Especially the recent COVID pandemic, I think it changed the world upside down, and it also brought home the significance of cyber security, as being operated as a holistic business operations driven and a broad ranging cyber service perspective, as against, say merely an implementation of the cyber strategy initiative.
Yeah.
Right. Now, with this context, what are your thoughts, say, on the key drivers and trends for enabling a proactive cyber defense strategy, say, for an enterprise or an organization?
Yeah, so that is a need of the hour, but cybersecurity unfortunately has always been considered as an afterthought, right? Many people considering themselves that, okay, I am not attacked so far.
Yeah.
I will see when it happens, what to do, right? Um, but at the same time, most of the companies go with the cybersecurity initiatives and programs either to meet a tick box requirement or to meet a compliance requirements in the past. But that is changing because most of the companies either they know that they are hacked or they don't know they're hacked. I think these are the only two categories of companies in the world today, whether it is a large multi-billion company or even a MSME organization, right? Everybody might
Yeah.
have been breached already. It is just a matter of time to know that whether you are already breached or that you're breached, right? So in this context, as I mentioned, many things are getting connected. Even if you are secured, if your connected ecosystem, your partner, your vendor, your subcontractor, if your employee, if they are not secured, you are still under risk, right? Um,
Absolutely.
we are actually living in a zero-day click attacks and zero-day vulnerabilities. So zero-click attacks and zero-day vulnerabilities are there everywhere. And most of the time, we don't even know about that whole thing, right? I personally see that the more we are connected, the more digital, the more intelligent system we are going to have. It is more prone to have attack because, as I mentioned, 50 billion connected devices means 50 billion entry points, doors for the cyber criminals to come inside and launch an attack, right? It can be even
Yeah.
simply your CCTV camera, which is kept out there, or it can be even a small fish tank, which is in your living room, right? If it is connected, there is a loophole to be coming inside for a hacker if it is not properly secured, right? So it not necessary to have security only for this larger corporate systems, but also we need to ensure that the security has to be embedded and infused at every touch point of your organizations, not only at the larger IT systems, but also in your your connected systems, your operational systems. It has to be in your reception, and even if even it has to be there at your security guard, the physical security guard who is standing outside your gate, right? It has to be at that level, right? So that is how it has to be embedded is my thought process.
So, would you then say that, a robust enterprise risk advisory strategy, uh, is that the need for our, irrespective of which industry vertical we are catering to, or irrespective of the industry size?
Yeah, so I think security should be looked at not as a roadblocker for an organization, but as an enabler to the business growth to the organization. That is how it has to be considered. And I personally believe that
Right.
this
Right.
has to be considered at the top of the hum, which is at the board level, right? At the board level, security has to be considered as an integral part of the overall resiliency, business resiliency, and it has to be the number one business risk, right? Um, because an inflation could be impacting the business in certain aspect. The competitive threat could be impacting the business in certain dimensions, right? Your cost of products or cost of goods sold increase in that dimension could be impacting your business in certain aspect. But one cyber attack can completely shut down your business. It can damage your complete share uh, value. It can completely damage your reputation. It can completely damage your customer's trust, right? It can even cause loss of life to your customers and your employees and your stakeholders, right? A cybersecurity breach. So that's why I personally see that after coming 18 years in analytics and AI, now in the last 10 years in cybersecurity, I personally see that today the cybersecurity being the #1 risk for an enterprise. And that is where your enterprise risk strategy has to have cybersecurity as at least one of the top 3 risks that you need to consider when you do the risk modeling for the organization.
Absolutely, absolutely. Uh, so as we have, established in this conversation as well, that cybersecurity should be the main risk strategy that should be taken into consideration. So moving forward, what would be the best practices and strategies within cybersecurity that need to be focused upon and that need to be strengthened from an organizational ecosystem point of view?
Um, Sometimes I see that, most of the clients always, I mean, most clients in the sense, most of the organization, when I say clients, means large enterprises out there, right? Even mid-sized organization always invest a lot of money in buying a lot of tools and technologies with the hope that these tools and technologies are going to really save them, right? Tools and technologies I personally see are enablers, right? What I would strongly recommend to the organizations is actually ensure that the basics and fundamentals are there, right? In terms of the cybersecurity. And second, consider security is a shared responsibility. It is an ecosystem responsibility that don't push the security dimensions and the responsibilities to your IT team or the CISO team, right? That's the second point. The third point, build a zero trust mindset and an approach. So zero trust is a very emerging terminology in the cybersecurity world. But instead of having a zero tech trust, just to have certain zero trust tools or technologies, have a zero trust mindset, right? That is very important. The fourth one, build security inside the organization and embed or integrate that as a part of your culture. So develop a secure first culture is going to be very important at an enterprise level, at an organization level. And it has to go from top down. It should not be just siloed as it. So I think these are some of the broader aspects, broader areas when it is coming to security to be considered at an enterprise level. But from the implementation level, right? When we are having these connected systems, when we are having this so many siloed, operations within the organization. For a manufacturing company, you can see there is a large manufacturing plant out there which is running a lot of operational technology. At your corporate, you see a lot of enterprise systems out there. At the consumer end, you can see a lot of endpoint devices and smart systems which eventually have to come together. So an integrated security view is very important. And second thing from the other side, right, is most of the time security is always a reactive approach, right? Reactive response. I think people have to move to a proactive defense approach. That is where companies have to infuse intelligence and ensure that the defense systems have to be in an operating model with the help of this intelligence. That means you need to have an intelligence-led security operation. So one is an integrated security operation, the other one is an intelligence-led security operations. And since you have a lot of huge siloed systems or diverse systems in your ecosystem, and that is where you need to ensure that these systems itself should be intelligent enough to help you to do the defense, right? And that is where automation comes into picture, analytics comes into picture, and AI comes into the picture, right? So intelligence led, integrated, and intelligent systems, intelligent defense, right? With these kind of technology perspective, and when you're focusing on fundamentals and foundations, ensuring that you are having a zero trust approach, ensuring that you are building security as a culture, when these things come together, and that is where the real resiliency can be achieved for organizations, is what I thought.
I move to like I'll take that cue from your previous point, wherein you mentioned that a risk intelligence approach is definitely the need of the hour, right?
Yeah.
For enterprises to deliver their requirements. Now, I come to the point wherein what uh, other adoption of other capabilities or qualities in terms of organizations is it necessary to adopt a holistic enterprise risk management approach, right? what other qualities apart from, say, an intelligent approach would you say would be helpful?
See, the list goes on, right? So, as I mentioned, leveraging the tools and technologies to to ensure defense in a more proactive is the most important thing. At the same time, creating awareness, I consider that as a fundamental thing, as a basic thing across the pyramid in an organization is a very, very important thing. I think there has to be very, very purposeful initiatives and programs to create that awareness as well. Because I've seen in the past organizations got shut down, like large chemical manufacturing companies, large logistics and supply chain companies got shut down for days and weeks just because of an employee clicking on an email attachment, right? At the same time, they, the attacks are very, very getting very, very sophisticated on the other side, right? So we need to, so for example, today we are talking about AI systems, right? Cognitive systems. The AI can be used in the areas of cybersecurity. At the same time, cybersecurity also has to be applied in the AI systems. The reason behind is the cyber criminals out there, they are using this AI, the same AI capabilities to launch the cyber attacks in a better way, right? So we need to look at both the extremes, ensuring the fundamentals at the one place and ensuring we have that sophisticated capabilities in place to defend this. Because cyber criminals are using these autonomous systems, AI systems to launch cyber attacks. They are using AI to build self-learning swarm bots. They are using AI to have intelligent malicious bots, right? And they are using AI to do vulnerability discovery. They are using AI to build autonomous drones, which are slaughter bots. So cyber criminals are using these capabilities to launch sophisticated attacks. So, and they will have to just make it one time right? One time successful in their all the efforts. But as an organization, we have to make it all the time right across all our pyramids, right? Whether it is at the fundamental foundation aspects or at the sophisticated aspects, we need to ensure that we are making it all the time right. And throughout the year, there is no specific time that we can always think that, okay, only this time the cyber criminal is going to be attacking us, or this is the only area I can be getting attacked. Absolutely, that is not the way, because Maryland University, I think they have done a research in 2019, and they came up with a very interesting report saying that every minute there are more than 3,000 targeted attacks are happening, right? Every minute. Then you can count that in a particular day, how many millions of attacks are happening, and the methodologies these guys are using, this used by cyber criminals, are continuously changing, right? And the motivations are also continuously changing. Some people launch attacks to really financially, to make financial gains. That means financially motivated cyber attacks. Some people launch attacks just for fun, right? Just for out of curiosity and fun. Some people launch attacks, but that can make catastrophic damages. Some attacks can be even sponsored by other countries, nation state sponsored attacks, right? So, and these attacks can be not only in the large power stations and telecom companies, it can be even coming to the pacemaker sitting inside our hearts, right? And it can be even a fish tank in our living room. It can be a smart TV which is kept in our bedroom. It can be a CCTV camera which is in our apartment, right? So it can be anything, right? So that's where we need to look at that extreme from both ends, not only in a pointed area, is what my thought. Yeah.
The extent of this thing, it was beautifully explained by you, and that is scary, but I think there is loads of opportunities in those regions as well. So through all, when organizations, individual employees, or even C-suite executives, they navigate through such interesting and tumultuous times, which are complicated yet full of opportunities. What would you consider the role of a CISO evolve? Is it evolving in the current times? Uh, and what are the roles and responsibilities of the C-suite executives? Uh, are they blurred, or how do you look at it? And additionally, I would also like you to throw some light on uh, what extra value could the CISO actually bring to the table in terms of employee-oriented policy formulation, digital transformation, and such other things.
Yeah. As I mentioned earlier, like the way security was always considered as an IT function or a technology requirement, and the CISO and the CISO unit in traditionally what I see in my experience, always considered under the IT unit, and this is an IT function, right? But over the last few years, the scenarios are getting changed. Now CISOs are now requested and required to directly report to the board, right? Because business is now seeing cyber risk is one of the business risk, right? One of the key business risk. Now there are a lot of initiatives, programs are being launched by the companies, large organizations, to ensure that CISOs are taking more responsibilities in the organizational resiliency, right? Enterprise resiliency from the risk management point of view to improve the resiliency, right? It is not only from the company's point of view, but from the regulatory point of view as well. A lot of governments are coming with a lot of regulatory requirements to ensure that businesses having that kind of a matured resiliency, cyber risk posture improvement, and so on, where CISOs have to play a very, very crucial role. It is a change management. And as I mentioned, it is easy to deploy tools and technologies, but it's very difficult to change mindset and change culture. And it is a process, it is a journey, right? I think that is where CISOs have to really step up in the game and being a business or playing a business role in the whole journey rather than a technology evangelist, right? So CISOs are coming up. I think CISOs are getting more visibility, more support, more funding, more access, more influence in the larger business decision process out there. I see that. I think it varies from industry to industry because the awareness has to be created. Some of the industries like banking or telecom or pharma, which or insurance, which are more regulated by the governments, the adoption and the transformation is much faster. Traditional industries like mining or oil and gas or energy and supply chain logistics, etc. I think slowly they are coming up in the game because they have not seen the real challenges out there, unlike the other industries like the data rich and money rich industries like the telecom and the banking out there. But unfortunate fact is that it is very easy for cyber criminals to go and attack these industries like retail or manufacturing or oil and gas, because your cyber maturity is compared to the other industries like banking is lesser in those one, right? And that is where the cyber criminals are now looking at hospitals, for example, right? Now being one of the targets for cyber criminals out there. So it is a journey. I think there is significant progress, but I see that wherever this is heavily regulated, the pace is much faster, right? And the other industries, based on their awareness, based on their impact, they realize. I think the pace is slightly getting there as well, but it's a journey. Yeah, there is no destination for this, but it's a journey. Yeah.
Interesting insight. So we come to the end of the discussion. I just have a last question. It's like an open-ended question I'm throwing at you. So we talked about a lot of things, like so in the I feel that the criticality of big data analytics within innovation models and the cybersecurity or cyber defense frameworks, it cannot be understated, right? And obviously, a lot of humongous amount of data is being churned out across organizations and individuals. So, in a nutshell, what do you feel the future holds in terms of continuous disruptive innovations and its effect on the data privacy and individual opportunity areas as well? Like, where is this market going basically?
That's a very, very interesting area. See, as we started this whole discussion about autonomous systems or even cognitive decision systems, right? As we discussed, we are building these capabilities to augment human beings to do better things, right? Giving him him or her the convenience to do better things. So naturally, as human beings, we always uh, prefer convenience, right? And we tend to use systems for our convenience. At the same time, what happens actually in today's world, we are having a lot of cognitive systems, big data analytics, AI powered cognitive systems in place, including in our own homes, like in the form of Alexa or many of these devices, which are more cognitive in nature. Uh, but actually, I think when we are having more cognitive systems, which are not coming from very, very highly secured vendors or organizations, we have the high risk of cyber security breaches, right? And that is where I think we are having a tendency to choose convenience over privacy because either we don't know or we are becoming so lazy because we are outsourcing our memories, abilities, and capabilities to these smart devices, right? And then in that whole convenience process, I think we are compromising to a certain extent of privacy. But governments are now coming up with privacy protection, regulatory laws and frameworks. But I'm not sure whether the pace that is required to really have these systems in place is there, because these are all to be converted into legislatives and the laws and clauses to be enforced, right, at the end of the day. So that's why I think it is taking time. I think it has to be fast forwarded to ensure that these processes, policies, and these frameworks, especially from the governance and regulatory perspective, has to be there to ensure that privacy is protected when we are having this more convenience and intelligence systems in place.
I think a perfect closure to the topic that we started. And Philip, I think those were the point of discussions that I wanted, that I was requesting you to throw some light on. And I think it was a very insightful, a very detailed, and a very knowledge-oriented, yet a very practical approach session. So thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for taking out your valuable time. Quadrant Knowledge Solutions really appreciates uh, and respects the fact. And thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to interact with you.
Thank you, Apoorva, for the wonderful opportunity. Thank you, Quadrant Knowledge Solutions as well, for the opportunity extended to share my knowledge and experience. I think, as I mentioned, security is a shared responsibility. We all have to make it safe and better. Thank you so much. Stay safe.